Hi guys, so today we are going to be working on this piece. Initially I didn't want to post this, but I've been getting a lot of requests on my Facebook to post the tutorial because when I was making this dress, I got a bad news about a friend from school died. So I was like, my mind was messed up, so I did a lot of mistakes, but I'm going to try my best to explain it for you guys so that you'll be able to understand and not do it the way I did mine, right? If it's something you like to learn, let's get to it. So I have 3 yards of crepe, and then the Ankara fabric was pieces left over from my mom's clothes. But you can make use of 1 to 1.5 yard depending on your size, you know. And I didn't use that for mine. You can use that for yours. You can also use Princess Bustia for yours, but I'm doing mine without that. Like I said earlier, it's pieces, so I had to join them together to get the length I wanted. If you have 1 yard to 1.5 yard, you are good to go. So this is me just measuring to know how much I'm going to be attaching to the other piece. So I'll just stitch the other piece to the piece that I had, front face facing front face, and then I'm going to stitch by 1/2 inches. So I have this, so I have 2 pieces, right, for front and back piece. So like you do for your blouse or your gown, so you go on, I'm going to mark 1.5. For my zipper allowance, you can mark 2, you can mark 1, there is no problem, but in this case I'm making use of 1.5 inches. Like I always do, from the up to the down part, then use your ruler to join it with a straight line. Then this is the other piece for my that will serve as my front piece, so I'm going to place it under my 1.5 inches line, right? You arrange everything, you measure the length, and then I went ahead to draw my borderline. Borderline, that's where you're going to start your measurement from. But if your fabric are like equal at the upper part, you don't need to draw this. But I had to do that because the fabric were not equal. You know, we're working with pieces here. So I cut out my borderline, and also I'll measure the full length I had. As you can see, the 2 pieces are not equal at the down part, so I had to trim off. But at the end, I had 30 inches. So the length of the blouse must not be 30. It depends on where you want yours to stop. I just used 30 for mine. So at the shoulder part, I'm going to impute my shoulder divided by 2. Then under that 2, I'm going to measure 9 inches. 9 inches will be for my armhole, right? And after that 9 inches, I'm going to measure 10 inches. That 10 inches will be for my chest point, or you can say your bust point also. In some cases, you can also use the 9, but in these cases, I decided to go with 9 for armhole and then 10 for chest point. Then I went on for 15 for my waistline or waist point. And then I'm going to mark my hip line also. I'll just go ahead and extend those lines inward and outward. You can use your ruler for this. You can actually mark all the markings before you then extend the lines, right? So then for my hip, I'm going to make use of 2 and 4. So I'll just extend the lines inward and outward, right? So after doing that, under my armhole point, I'll mark the same measurement I had at the upper part. That's my shoulder divided by 2, and I will join the points together with a straight line. Please use ruler. Like I told you earlier, I was very confused while making this dress. Although around this part I wasn't confused, so when I started cutting out the piece that I got the bad news. So let's just go. Use your ruler, you join the points together, right? And now go on, I'll mark my neckline. So for this neckline, it's going to be a square neckline, but not really fully square. I'm going to show you guys what I mean by that. So you know your shoulder divided by 2, take it down, your bust point, your chest point, your waist, and then your hip, right? So now I'm going to mark my neck area for the front piece. So I made use of 3 inches for the wideness at the top. You see what I'm trying to show you guys here. So from the 3 inches, I'm going to take it down to 4 inches. I later on increase it to 5, but you can make use of 6, 7, 8, depending on how you want your neckline to be exposed. You know, I didn't want mine to be fully exposed, so I went in by 4, and I later on increased it to 5. I don't know, I would have left it as 4. So at the down part inward, now instead of marking 3 inches that I did at the top, right, I'm going to mark 3.5. Why? Because I don't want the side to be straight line. But if you want straight line, you just use 3 that you use at the upper part, you use it at the down part, right? For me, I use 3.5, so that when I join to that my 3 inches wideness, I'm going to have a slant line. That's what's going to give you a neckline, that slant effect it does when you wear the top. But if you want yours to be equal, you can just do your normal square neckline, you know, same sides. You understand? So I joined my lines together, and then for the back neckline, I maintained my 3 inches at the top, and then I went on with 1.5 for the down part, and I formed my curve. So the back neckline is going to be a round neckline, while the front we have square, but not fully square. So now I'm going to go to that my 8 inches, sorry, my shoulder measurement, I'm going to mark 1 inches. That will be for my shoulder slant or shoulder slope. You can mark half, you can mark 1, it's all good. I don't think you can mark more than 1, so 0.5 or 1 inches is good. So I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to use a slant line to join it to that my 3 inches wideness neck, right? So you can use ruler for this, don't mind me, I'm just feeling myself using my free hand, right? So after drawing my shoulder slope or shoulder slant, from that my 1 inches, I'm going to mark what I have left. I had 9, that was for my armhole, right? So I divide it. After removing 1 inches, I will have 8. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I'm going to mark the middle point, which is 4, and I'm going to extend it inward by ½ inches. So I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to use my free hand to form my curve. If you have a French curve, you can use it, but I'm going to use my free hand. So I'm going to form my curve, and then when I form my curve, I'm going to measure my bust measurement divided by 4 plus the allowance I wanted to add under my armhole and also on my bust point. So I added 2.5 inches allowance, but if you are using that, you can add 3 inches, so that when you later taking your dart one, if you are using like the diamond dart or normal dart without bust here, you can add 1 inches, you understand, so that you'll be left with 2 inches allowance. So I did that. I marked my armhole, right? So the measurement I had on my armhole points, that I'm going to take it down to my bust point or your chest line or chest point. So I'm going to impute it. Then at the waist area too, I'm going to impute my waist measurement divided by 4 plus additional 2.5. Like I said, I'm not using that, but if you want to use that, it depends on the dart you are using. You that's what will determine the amount of allowance you'll be taking out, you understand? So at the down part, that's the hip line, I'm going to impute my hip again divided by 4. I'm going to impute it divided by 4, then I'll be adding allowance. So because my fabric is not that much, I had to just check what I had left. I think I had 2.5 inches left also in this case. So I had 2.5 inches by the 3 points. 2.5 inches. So it was out of frame there, I didn't know. So that was my 2.5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and join my points together. So you just watch how I join the points together. And then around that your waist, you will not make it to be very sharp. You make it to be curvy like around the waist, from your waist to your hip. So from the hip, I'll just take it downwards to the end. You can take it slantly also, depend on what you want. So I'll go ahead and cut my round neckline first. Then I'm going to cut my front neckline, our square neckline. Then I'll just cut the rest of the body of the piece. So it was when I was about cutting this armhole that a friend called me, and then she told me the bad news, right? And I totally forgot. I cut the back and front armhole together, but it wasn't bad, really show much effect. But if you are doing your own, you don't want to cut the armhole together, you might need to cut it separately. Your front will be curvy while the back piece won't be as curvy as the front piece. So I cut out my piece. So this was where I started making mistakes in this dress, but I actually wanted deleting the tutorial, but people keep asking, so that's why I edited it today and I'm posting it. So now from the edge, I'm going to mark a slant line to join to that point. Another mistake that I made. I was supposed to open up my piece and then do these curving parts, but I was so confused. But I just say, okay, let me finish up the clue. So I formed my curve, and this can also be another style. If you don't want my own style, you see when I open it up, you see what I'm saying, why I said you can also make this another style and it's going to come out nice also. So I'll just cut out that curve shape, right? Then I'll slit open my zipper allowance. And instead of opening up what I cut out before cutting out my lining, I went out and cut out lining for each piece. So when you are doing yours, please don't do these parts. If you are following me, you hold on first. I'll tell you when to do it. Don't cut out your lining until when you are fully done with your fabric. So I'm going to open it up and show you. This was when I realized that Fatima, you made a mistake. But we'll still rectify that mistake. If you open up, you have something like this. It can also be a style, you know. You can also make your top to be like this. It's going to come out nice too, but that was not what I wanted in mind. I wanted one side to be curvy and the other side should go straight up. So you see what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark from my waist measurement. I'm going to mark downward to about 7 on 8. I marked 7 inches downward, and I'm going to make that my curve to meet it. So basically I was supposed to open up my two-piece and then form this curve and cut it out, but because my mind was like mixed up, so I made the mistake. But like I said earlier, this can also be a style. You can leave yours like this, I can follow mine. So after cutting your bodies right on the pattern, open up your piece and then you mark 7 inches down from your waist and you form this curve, then you cut out. So you'll be able to get the style I was aiming at. But if you want to do this style that we mistakenly cut out, you can still maintain that one. So I had to just cut it, although the curve was not like straight, but after sewing, everything's going to come along. Everything's going to come all together. So I had to do same thing for the back piece also. So please, in case you want the style that I did, you want to my exact style, after cutting out your bodies, right, before splitting your zip, don't draw that curve that I drew. Open up your front piece and back piece. You can actually open them all together. Then you mark from your waist down to 7 and then you form your curve and you cut it out. Please and please try and understand though. Made a mistake, so that's what I'm trying to tell you people. In case you want this style that I did at first, you can also do that. It's not bad. It's going to look nicer too. You can add that to your own. If I had added that to this clothes, it won't come out nice because I was so confused that day. Like, it wasn't easy sharbo. So please, I hope you understood what I explained. When you watch this video carefully, you think of how to do yours. So let's just get to it. So like I said earlier, I had to do same thing at the back piece also. So when you are doing yours, don't slit the zipper allowance first though. Use your iron to make sure that the allowance left is evidence, and then you open up, create your curve and cut it out. Then later on you slit the back piece into 2. Hope you guys understood this. I'm so sorry. I had, it was due to the situation I was that then. I actually didn't want to post this video, but people have been asking on Facebook, so that's why I said to edit it today and post. I have this for your back and front piece. Guys, I'm going to be posting the part 2 where we'll finish up the sewing, but I'm going to stop here for the cutting, and by God's grace I'll post in the part 2 today or tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. To follow, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, turn on notification bell, follow me on Facebook also, and on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm also active over there. Thank you all for watching. Bye.